Story time with William. So, I'm about to tell you the tale about my first time going to Japan. I actually went there to go visit Mount Fuji, ne? So, I was on a plane on my way to Japan. On my first trip, I stopped at a casino. At this casino, I accidentally spent a little too much money, and I owed a lot of money to the owner. The owner was a monk, ne? So he headbutted me until I passed out, ne? He dragged me up all the way to Mount Fuji and left me there to die. Now, I was about to freeze to death on my last breath, ne? And then came a clan called the Kontai people. Now they took me in, ne? They gave me shelter, they gave me warm clothes. Also, don't go search up Kontai people, because you won't find anything on Google, because it's like a secret clan up there, so don't bother. So they gave me shelter, warmth, clothes, and everything, eh? They healed me. And now see, then they told me about their rival clan called the Hontai people. They said the Hontai people wants to melt all the ice on Mount Fuji so that it would wipe out Japan. Now see, I didn't want to be a part of this. I said I want to dip, I want to go back to South Africa, eh? But then they said I'm not allowed to since they saved my life. So I ended up spending 5 years there during the 3 years of my trip to Japan. I learned Muay Thai, Karate, flippin' kickboxing, and 2 other forms of martial arts I cannot speak of, or else the Illuminati will come find me. Now, during my time there, I fell in love with the chief's daughter. She was called Kurumi Tokisaki. I fell in love with her, I married her, and I had 17 children with her, which I also raised to the age where each of them was 16 years old during my time in Japan, during my 3 years in Japan. Now, during our last battle against the Hontai people, ne? During my last battle against the Hontai people, I tragically lost my wife and the chief. Now I mourned, I cried for the last 3 years. For another 3 years I spent it there. I was very sad about my wife's death. Then I fell in love with her mother, my dead wife's mother. Her name was Kurumisaki Kentaki. Now I had a child with her, ne? I loved her. But tragically, she was assassinated by someone I'm still searching for to this day. But that's a story for another time. Now, when she was assassinated, I decided it's time for me to go back to South Africa. Now, I told my children to go out. They made a lot of inventions. In fact, like pizza. One of my children invented pizza, but Italy got all the credit for it because he went to live there. Anyway, so as I got on the plane to go back to South Africa, the plane crashed in a large field. I was the only one to survive because, come on, you know me, I built it. So then I came upon a sign that said, the password is Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair. I did not understand this, but I accepted it and went on with my journey. I came across a tower with a beautiful blonde girl up there, and with long blonde hair. So I then said the password, Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair. Then she let out a moorse long hair, and as it touched the ground, I did what any reasonable guy would do, I turned her hair on fire, and then I went on with my journey. I came across a second tower. There was a hairy, skinny man up there, and once again I said, Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair. This guy, stuck his ass out of the window and let a bunch of mold hair come out of the window. I did not know if that was ass or ball hair, but that was not worth my lighter fuel, so I just decided to go on with my journey. Now I came across a third tower, There was one of those cripples up there, she had long ass nose hair, I made sure no one was watching, I grabbed her by the nose there and yanked her down until she hit the ground, and I went on with my journey. Then I came across this big Mursa mansion, and a bunch of dragon warriors came out the sides and kidnapped me and brought me to their leader, which was one of those classic mafia guys, mafia accent and everything, We got along good. He gave me a beer, we talked a bit, and I became his assassin for 7 years, I killed people for him, I took care of him, but then one day, he found out I killed his daughter. Rapunzel from the first hour, That was his daughter. Jeez, man, and I did not know that. So, what happened next is, he hit me with that classic. You disrespected me. You disrespected my family. Now, you will pay with your balls. You will strip down to your last piece of clothing and do the hokey pokey on my rooftop while my men shoot at you. And if you make it out alive, I will kill you myself. I did as he asked. I got down to my last piece of clothing and started doing the hokey pokey on his rooftop. As his men shoot at me, I dodged every single bullet, because you know me, I'm just built different. But then suddenly, this mafia man, he got out a minigun. Now, man, you gotta believe me, this is totally a true story. He got out a minigun and started shooting at me, I dodged every bullet until one of his men shot me with a rocket launcher, Just before the rocket launcher could hit me, I jumped on the rocket launcher and flew all the way back to South Africa with it, I tapped out the rocket launcher, he flew into the air and exploded where he couldn't hurt me, And that's how and then I safely removed my child from my ass cheeks, and we lived happily ever after, Also, that is, I also gave my child to my uncle and his wife because I was not really in a place in my life to take care of a child. And today, that child is known as my cousin, but secretly, it's actually my child. It's just that, you know, it happened a little bit before my parents was born, so that's why it's kind of a secret. But other than that, that was story time with William. Also the story about how you became my son.